Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for July 27th, 29th, 2020. How are you doing? Well, we have a very interesting configuration that we want to pay attention to and take advantage of in this potent time, this potent last week of July 2020. We are having the third and final Venus square Neptune. Now, the first two of these Venus square Neptune transits, there's three total. When a planet takes retrograde, often it'll have three passes of these transits. And then the third pass is when you get the message, when you get the clarity, when you get the aha, the gift. Except for that Venus and square to Neptune is very confusing and it brings a total lack of clarity. So the first time and the second time that this happened was back in May, once before Venus turned retrograde and then right after Venus turned retrograde. Now Venus has gone direct, coming out of retrograde shadow. That will happen this on the 29th, on Wednesday. And so this third and final exact of Venus square Neptune will be feeling this all week, and it's taking us back to May, but hopefully on a higher octave. Like, yes, there's going to be confusion. Yes, there's going to be a lack of clarity, lack of direction, but maybe you can feel a little bit better about where you're going, even though you don't know. Because the energy of this time right now is just like, whoa, here I am. What just happened? Where am I going? What's going on? And if you can be in that place of unknown, knowing you're going around the corner, knowing you're in the process of big shifting, and find peace in this, there's something magical trying to happen here for us. Because the first two passes of Venus square Neptune, as she was turning retrograde, had this energy of facing delusions in our life. You know, where we've all had this experience, and this is kind of a quintessential Venus retrograde experience, where you work really hard, visualize, manifest something in your life, and then when it shows up, you're like, not quite right. I didn't really want, this isn't what I imagined it to be, and it's not what I thought. And it's what it is a big challenge to our whole conditional reality and belief system that how we become happy, satisfied is with something outside of ourselves. That's really the big gift of this Venus retrograde, if we can receive it, right? And so now this third and final Venus square Neptune, which is exact today and tomorrow, is about revisiting that confusion and direction and disillusionment of Venus square Neptune and turning retrograde back in May. But there's another energy here coming in, because it's pretty magical that at the same time that we've got this Venus square Neptune number 3, we've got Jupiter in exact sextile to Neptune. And Mercury is coming into a trine. Mercury in Cancer, coming out of its retrograde shadow, coming into a trine with Neptune. And so Mercury has trined Neptune 3 times in this also, in its retrograde season. And so these all happening at one time is something very powerful. And it's powerful in a different way than what we've been used to, because these positive, supportive transits, you have to take advantage of them. The squares, the oppositions, they just happen. There's no getting around them, right? But these ones, you have to reach out and grab it. And that's what we're being asked to do right now. So the energy of Jupiter in sextile to Neptune, expanding possibilities of new realities of the dream, of new structures that can better support our spiritual truth. And then Venus square Neptune facing delusions about what we thought we wanted, and maybe not even knowing what we want, not even knowing where we're going, not even knowing who we are, right? And then Mercury coming out into a trine with Neptune. That's all pointing us to this spiritual energy, new structures, new beliefs, new value system that have to do with the oneness principle and getting out of the veil of delusion. And so what this means for us personally, for the supernova soul right now, is that there's a magical energy of entertaining. Okay, so a lot of us fantasize about what we think we would want. Oh, I really want this. I really want my community. I really want my soulmate. I really want this ideal job. I want to do my purpose. I want this. I want this. And yet deep down inside, this is what all this astrology has been about, with the Uranus and Taurus and Cancer everywhere. And it's like, there's a part of you that says that's not possible, right? So you're fantasizing about something that you sell on a cellular level, you don't think is even possible. So you're like in this conflicting commitment with yourself. Right now, there is a window of opportunity to entertain that impossible as actual fact and reality. Live into the vibration of the dream. And it really is helpful to get out of specifics, right? Because the specifics and the conditionality really get us into trouble. Like, I want this and it's going to be this way. And, there's a little bit of a distortion in the spiritual community around the law of attraction and visualizing what you want and manifesting it, right? And there's so much other stuff that goes on within us about, like, if we deserve it, if we feel good enough, if we even think it's possible. And this is a reworking of all of this and being like, are you here? If you can go deep down into your heart and soul and be like, are you here for new earth? Are you here for something different? Are you here to bring in the new? Are you here to hold the higher frequency vibration? Is that true for you? Then it's time to entertain the impossible, right? Go from, oh, that community, that spiritual community and people I really connect with, like, I don't think it's possible. Maybe for everybody else, but not for me, right? And it's like, no, now it's time to embody that vibration as absolute certainty, right? It's almost like when we fantasize, we can get further away from the reality. This is part of the Neptune energy, right? And now it's like, with two personal planets and Jupiter in relationship to Neptune, we're having an opportunity to take our delusions and turn them into dreams, and take our fantasies and turn them into reality. And so this window of time is really important. Now the moon is in Scorpio for the next today and tomorrow and into Wednesday. And that is bringing more magic to the mix because it's a water sign. So that means it's positively interacting with Neptune and Mercury in Cancer, trining. So a grand water trine. So this next couple of days, grand water trine and this exact Jupiter sextile Neptune. And it's like, maybe I went through all of that these last 4 months of the dark night to step into a whole new reality. Now, this is actually supported by Saturn in exact relationship, semi-sextile, one sign over from the nodes, from the North Node. And that relationship is saying, it's like, there's something about this saying, you got to go the opposite direction, right? It's like, we're at this place where it's like, you can either go and stay on the death spiral, like lower paradigm, I'm going to get sick and struggle through life. We can turn that ship around and be in the vibration of the new, and that's the thing. It's like, we know, we have the concept that we live in a vibrational reality. Every time there's a change, like say we talked about in the physical body, where you, like say with homeopathy, first your vibration changes, then your physical symptoms will improve. Often your physical symptoms will get a little worse before they improve, because that's the vital force working. And maybe that's what we've been going through for the last 3-4 months, big remedy and a healing crisis. And maybe we had to go back into that dark night place in order to seize the new and grab a hold of it. And this is what we're being asked of, because like I said, these transits, Venus isn't square to Neptune, but the sextiles and the trines, you really got to just like reach out and grab and take advantage of those. So take what you have felt. This you have to really examine, because on the surface we feel like, oh no, I'm not. I'm creating this future, right? But actually on a cellular level, you feel like you don't deserve and it's impossible. So you're actually, you're like totally working against yourself. And we have to go deep down inside where, and adjust on a cellular level, the possibility. And this is the night and day that I'm seeing for people. It's like, oh, there's a part of me that just feels like that could never happen, but I'll still dream about it. I'll fantasize about it. But then what if it's an absolute certainty? Say finding your tribe and your spiritual community. That's what you came here to do as a supernova soul. That's how you work. That's how you do your purpose. It's how you've worked on this project you're working on over this whole evolution. And it's an inevitable certainty if you can receive it, right? So how do you go from like, oh, it's an impossible dream to an inevitable certainty that's coming your way and you better get ready, right? And that's a big energy this whole thing's been working with all this Cancer energy, because it's like to be in that place of receiving where, because a lot of times when we're in the fantasy of it, we're rejecting the reality of it. The mere fantasizing of it means we're rejecting the reality of it. And we have to entertain the reality of it right now. And this is a cellular shift. So anyway, very, very powerful time. It's interesting that Jupiter is also in square this week with Black Moon Lilith in Aries. This is bringing up maybe like a little clue to why we have not been able to move our fantasy delusion out of fantasy delusion and into living the dream. Has to do with Black Moon Lilith rules deep, dark secrets, deep, dark, hidden places in our psyche. It's connected to the 12th house in astrology, deep, hidden places, which is connected to Pisces, which is connected to Neptune in Pisces right now. And so that's very interesting because it's bringing in another factor of like, maybe we had to go into the shadow places to get that shadow energy out of our life and be like, yeah, no, I experienced it because you needed to know. You needed to fully understand and have compassion for humanity. You needed to fully go down into the depths and the darkest places. That's why you incarnated into the darkest times. But that is wasting your spiritual light to stay there. Cannot stay there anymore. So those deep, dark places where you're holding shame for other people or pain for other people or deep, dark, hidden places in your psyche, this is what keeps us in fantasy, is the stuff hidden deep in our psyche that we can't access, subconscious programming and beliefs, So it's actually giving us an opportunity to excavate. And Black Moon Lilith is in Aries. And so it's excavating the true self from outside, out from under this shadowy energy. It's almost like in order to be here on Earth and just survive, we've had to take on the garbage and be a part of it. You know how it is when you go in a situation and as an advanced soul, with your intuitive abilities and your energetic ability to read and feel what other people feel, we inevitably meet people where they're at. We match them. And that's what we've been doing. We've been matching the subconscious darkness on the planet to fit in and stay alive. And we can't do it anymore. It's going to kill us. So now we got to get to a new place. And isn't it interesting that it's at the same time? See, this darkness has been here since Atlantean time, but now it's being revealed. Humanity did not understand it was enslaved, the masses, right? And we've been trying to work for freedom this whole time, spiritual freedom and truth. And now it's like it needs to be shown very clearly. So it's coming to the surface, these Black Moon Lilith issues, the darkest, nastiest stuff on the planet. And we're all taking part of it in this current situation, not even realizing it. But isn't that interesting that it's being revealed to the masses at the same time that you're setting yourself free from it? And it's like, okay, yes, it's intense, it's crazy, it's dark, it's a struggle, and it's time to step out of that whole garbage and be like, yeah, I had to experience that. I would never have had compassion. And it's almost like you got to do it every lifetime, to really understand what the struggle of humanity is and then be like, yep, and then that's not my struggle anymore. Because you're here to hold the light, to host the light, and in order to do that, you got to honor the light and give yourself permission to be in that other frequency vibration. And if you haven't been able to fully, on a total cellular level, buy into and live and breathe this new earth energy that you're here to embody, now is the time. It's like that secret keyhole. There's a secret code, and to be present in this last week of July, step through, because we have Mercury out of shadow tomorrow, Venus out of shadow, Mercury out of shadow yesterday, Venus out of shadow tomorrow. So it's the end of a 4-month period of time of going to the dark side in order to get yourself out for good, and honor and cherish the work you've done as a spiritual being over these lifetimes, over this whole evolution, and start treating yourself as such. Start giving yourself and being that sanctuary of peace that you want to see, and living that truth with every breath. That's that. If you could focus on that for a week, your life will be completely different. I mean, it is trying to be completely different, which is why you have no idea what you're doing. We're up from down, right? And we talked about that this Venus square Neptune is really, it's a higher octave of the uncertainty and the confusion we felt in May, but it might be taking you right back to those issues and be like, did I get anywhere? Was this even worth anything? But that uncertainty, confusion, lack of direction, like we said, the message coming in is that that's where your life is making a huge shift. That's where it's going in the opposite direction, you know, and you're in the middle of that. So you don't know what's up from down. And that means you're doing it right. And this week we're being asked to sit tight in the middle of the shift and own the higher vibrational frequencies that we came here to embody, give ourselves permission to care for, you know, because understanding that staying in the lower vibration to keep your friends and family, keep your copacetic, keep your deal the way you've been doing it, just kind of fit in and live life. And, you know, that's no longer acceptable to the spiritual being that you are becoming, that you are, which you didn't know you were, that's landing home. It requires a deep and profound commitment of self-care and love and cherishing and honoring this spiritual being that's trying to land in your life, which is you, but you didn't know who you were. And so it's a very different energy of owning and honoring the light within you as a spiritual gift, and understanding that meeting the darkness where it's at is no longer honoring. It's no, you know, it's like you got to make room in your life it's like you're building a nest, you know, to land home. And from some very sweet, profound, magical lining up of energies, there's the intensity of the Venus square Neptune, which with confusion, but then understanding the confusion is because you're in the flick of the switch. It's taking a while, but it's a flick of the switch in a complete different direction. And it's more true to who you are, even though it feels more uncertain and alone. You know, it's got to feel alone because you have to break ties with the people you've been meeting on the lower vibration, you know. And that's where it's like, okay, you guys have had ample time in your heart and soul. You know, it's not appropriate a lot of times to say this out loud, but in your heart and soul, just your energy being like, you've had ample time to receive the, you know, and meet me on my spiritual vibration. And you've made your choice, and that's fine, but I gotta go. I'm going to New Earth. I'll see you there. And so just take advantage of this time. And thank you so much for doing the work you're doing, showing up, being the light that you are. We are in a crucial moment of turning the tide. So put aside all of that garbage out there and be present with the spiritual light that's coming in, and the truth that what we're going through right now is a spiritual change, and let that darkness be there while you maintain and claim and proclaim the light and the temple for that light in your life very deliberately. It can pay off huge if you can very deliberately tend to the light that you are this week. So just go out of your way to make a space in your life for peace, harmony, higher vibrations, cellular detox, clearing, healing, breathing prana, meditating, like connecting with nature. And it feels like that is just going to help you turn that corner. And it's okay to not know where we're going or what we're doing, because that means you're allowing the shift to happen. So good work. And I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. In a week from today, we've got that Aquarius full moon. Starting to get perspective of what this means in everything we've been going through, according to the Aquarian age and the shift that we're in. So maybe some clarity, we'll see. Okay. I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.